Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all you lovely freaks out there. Today is Saturday, September 9th, and other than a Hispanic man beheading a mother of two in California and Canadian doctors attempting to get their PhD in beheading children via euthanasia, everything is basically perfect. My name's Sam, and this is the Sam Daily Show. How are you doing, Inward Preston?
I'm doing quite well. Like you said, everything is pretty perfect today besides all of that going on.
Have you ever been to California?
No, I've never been to California, and I hope to never visit it, probably.
We're gonna be talking about California. California is a great place. If you've ever been, it's great to visit. I'd say it's a really awesome place to visit. I wouldn't stick around. But hey, first things first is, so fellas, this is a live show, and everything that I say is incorrect. Practically everything is incorrect that I say, and that's not according to me, but that's according to all the sold out celebrities. That's according to big tech. That's according to every single corporation, what it seems like. So with that said, everything I post will not be seen unless it's shared. So I encourage you, I implore you to share it with your friends, family, and anybody that would be likely to leave a hate comment. I'm pretty certain, in Inward Preston, maybe you could fill me in on this. I think that hateful comments are just as powerful as lovely comments. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's actually true. So we implore you to leave hateful comments down below. We would love to read them.
Yes.
Go over them.
Yes. If there's any kind of criticism, go ahead. Just flood it. Not during the live, but as soon as the live is done, then yeah, go ahead and. Speaking of which, this is a live show, and we are live on Thursdays and Friday evenings at 7 p.m. Central. We use Central because it's Central. I don't think that there's anything other than I can say is that it's Central Time. I don't understand either. Every time I don't watch news programs anymore, but every single time I'm always hearing something that's like at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. I think that we need to go by Central Time. That's something that another day. Also, we have a white pill story near the end. Also, some exciting news to share about the local saga, basically what's happening here in the good old state of Missouri. We're going to be talking about some big news. Maybe there's some packing boxes, if you'd like a hint. There's some packing boxes, that would be the hint. And I guess that pretty much gives it away, doesn't it?
I'm not too sure. I think some people will still be confused by it, so I think you're good.
Okay. I should have just said cardboard, but okay. Anyway, so let's dive into it. The first story is brought to you by the Examiner, and it's written by Garnett. I think his name is Guinness or Genius. I don't want to call the guy Genius because that could not be his last name, and we'll just call him Genius. I'm glad that he's shared this and put it out into the ether, and I'm now taking it and sharing it with you. So, according to the Examiner, we got here is that about 6 years ago, Canada's Liberal government, which we all know and love, first legalized euthanasia, calling it medical assistance in dying. Doctors and nurse practitioners are now permitted to kill consenting patients if certain criteria are met. I'm trying to think of that criteria. I can't figure out what it would be, but maybe people argue if they're in a vegetable state, Anyway, the government passed another bill to expand eligibility and reduce safeguards, and is now contemplating another round of further expansions, probably because they're butting up against the law and they want desperately to kill more people. I mean, with the 60 million abortions in America, and I can't even imagine what it is across the world. For some odd reason, we're in a state of wanting just to kill everyone. And the craziest part about it is that they don't necessarily believe it's killing. They actually disguise it all in healthcare. So all of this that I'm speaking of here when it comes to euthanasia is that it's they say euthanasia, but it's almost like they took like the time that they took PTSD, or no, it was shell shock, and then they changed it to post-traumatic stress disorder. post-traumatic stress disorder, and then they water it down even more to just PTSD, right? And it takes all of the like shell shock. If you're not familiar with shell shock, then ask your grandpa. But since the legalization of euthanasia, there have been many instances of abuse, which we're going to talk about here in a moment. But first, Preston, what is the definition of euthanasia? And tell me where you're getting this definition as well. I think that's actually key.
Well, let's see. According to Oxford Languages, euthanasia is the painless killing of a patient suffering from an incurable or painful disease or an irreversible coma. And it also says that this practice is legal in most countries.
So it's the two things that stood out to me is that it is not painful, and then another part of it was that it's, in fact, they said that it was painless way to in somebody's life, and then they also said that what was it about painful? Is it to avoid painful deaths? What was that?
It says if it's like an incurable or painful disease is all it says, and it says that it's completely painless to kill someone via euthanasia.
Yeah, painless. I think it's painless for the one who's administering that. I don't think it's painless to especially the family. That's interesting, and I'd be willing to bet that they've changed that definition over the course of time, but we won't know. So anyway, apparently a Canadian armed force veteran who served Canada was suffering from brain injury, and we'll just go ahead and say shell shock, which is confusing. Even with shell shock, I mean, like, I'm trying to think of like a Canadian military guy, considering America is practically it's like the big brother to Canada. I'm trying to picture what instance would it be that somebody in the Canada military would have some kind of stressful event. I don't want to go on too much with this. I just want to point out that the United States has 73 million people, according to some data that I found online, and then Canada only has 8 million people who are serving. The tanks, this is interesting stuff. I'm sidestepping. Inward, Preston, can I sidestep? May I? Is this something that could be beneficial for those? Maybe some stats on how big our military is?
Oh, how big our military is?
Yeah, I thought it was sick. I mean, the tanks, I don't know if you knew this, but the tanks is 6,612 compared to Canada, who has 82 tanks.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
Are you a tank guy, or like, do you play that game? I'm trying to think of the game that everybody plays where they fly the planes and then they ride around in the tanks. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm not a gamer. At least not anymore. I'm completely retired. So I think it's like Warpath or something though.
You don't game.
Yeah, no, I don't game.
I'm pretty sure that I've seen you game on Line Wars for like 2 hours straight.
That's not true. I don't recall that.
No. And then not only that, I've also seen you play Balloons. So.
Well, Balloons doesn't really count. It's not really much of a game. It's more of just
Oh, it's called Balloons. That's right. It's called Balloons.
Yeah, but it's just brushing up on my ability to think strategically is Balloons.
I think it's the most embarrassing thing to actually admit that you play. I thought you would have denied it, and I would have went along with it, but you went ahead and said that you play the game Balloons, and that's sad.
Well, it's a strategic game, like I said, and it's not even a game. It's more of just it's practice for the future. It's strategy, you know?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I think it's just if you play the game Balloons, I mean, Line Tower Wars is the, we won't get into it. Anyway, other fun things about the U.S. military compared to Canada is that we have 1,366 rocket artillery, and Canada has 0. Overall in the country, we also spend, I think, something like 30 times as much as the Canadian military. And I think that might be why Canada has socialized healthcare, is able to pay for everybody's splints and surgeries and such. Anyway, I digress. So, according to a report, a call with Veterans Affairs Canada, in which Canadian vet was seeking support and assistance, an employee suggested he consider euthanasia. Basically, what this guy was calling in is saying that, hey, I'm depressed because I, have to serve the Canadian military. Maybe that's just it. Maybe he was depressed because he was in the Canadian military and they don't do anything. Maybe that's the reason. And if somebody in the chat could let me know, maybe the Canadian military they have some kind of I don't know, program where they actually see any kind of. I'm actually curious about that. Somebody's got to speak up in this. I want to know more about the Canadian military. I want to know the battles that they have fought. The only one I can think of is the what is it, the French Canadian War or something. I don't know. It had something to do with pelts that they were fighting over. Anywho, but anyway, this guy was depressed and he called in to what is similar to the United States VA, who was supposed to assist those who served. And this guy responded with, "You should just basically kill yourself." Which is probably not the best thing that you could say to somebody who says, "Yeah, I'm depressed." And we're Preston, next time you come to me and you're stressed out or you have anxiety or anything like that, how do you think I should respond? How do I normally respond whenever you come to me with things like that?
You usually respond by calling me retarded or something, usually.
Yeah, which I think that is even a better that's a better option. Do I really?
Yeah, 100. Well, I mean, to be fair, I haven't ever brought any issue to you, but if I did, I feel like you'd just call me retarded.
I mean, the only issue that you've ever brought to me was just you in general. So,
what could possibly be wrong with me? You see what I'm doing here?
There's a lot of things that are wrong with you.
I can't think of a single problem with me.
Okay, so before you jump to, oh, this is an isolated event, or maybe the guy, working for the VAC was joking. There's actually been more cases of this, several, that have been shared by these patients. I'm prone to believe that I'm putting my foot down. This sunk just right back into me, is that I have never called you the R word, and nor have I would ever even use that language. I'm actually astounded that you would actually share that live.
I mean, yeah, you know what, I think you're kind of right. You might be gaslighting me here, but I think you're right.
No, I don't think I've ever called you that. I think I maybe have alluded to it, but maybe not. I don't think I've actually ever said that.
Yeah, actually, now that I think back on it, I don't really recall a specific time where you said that specifically, so maybe not.
I think other times I've called you racial slurs, but that's it.
Oh, yeah. The type of thing you can't really say on YouTube, right?
Yeah. The things that you can't say or else you'll get banned off YouTube. That's, yeah. There are actually some. Cracker. Yeah, the times I've called you cracker. So, anyway, back to this, is that according to the report, in some cases, patients were told about how much they were costing the hospital and told them that they were being selfish for wanting to stay alive. Which is awesome. Whenever you call into the hospital and saying, "Hey, I've got this issue where I want to just everything to end. I'm depressed, I'm sad, I'm lonely, and I would like some assistance, some help." And they just tell you that, well, don't come to us because it'll cost money. You should just... if you do come to us, then you should just take this needle to the arm, and then we'll both be happy. Is that you won't cost the hospital any more money, and you won't cost the state any more money, and you'll be dead, and everything will be fine. I can't imagine that kind of conversation that is being had, but I guess people are saying this, and I can't imagine somebody who's making this up either. So. I guess time will tell. So anyway, Garnett genius continues by mentioning that next year the section of the euthanasia law that prohibits euthanasia for those suffering solely from mental health conditions will automatically sunset, which basically means that unless Parliament intervenes, healthcare practitioners will be able to recommend and provide euthanasia to those suffering from depression or other mental health challenges. So basically what that means is that they want to expand it. They want a easier way to be able to work within the laws of Canada to say, hey, come on, man, like just take the, come on, man, just take the shot. And it sounds a whole lot familiar to where we're at in America. So anyway, given that trajectory, we should consider the real risk that soon in Canada, a parent who brings a clinically depressed teenager to, I forgot to mention is that, yeah, they're talking about expanding it to where children are going to be able to participate in euthanasia, which is just pretty much taking away the pain, right? Or it's just absolutely killing somebody. I mean, there's not much nuance in it. But so anyway, and that, with all that to say is that, like, why is it that we care about what happens in Canada? We care about what happens in Canada because today's Canada is America tomorrow. So what I've seen is this trend that everything that happens in Canada, it seems like it used to be like 2 years down the road. And I'm talking about not necessarily culturally, because it's actually kind of funny is that every single singer, pop star, celebrity comes from Canada into America, and then they become some big pop star. I don't know what's up with that. But what I am saying is that anything legalistic, law-wise, and maybe I'm using terrible language, and Preston, what does it mean law-wise? Like, is that correct, or is it something more like lawfully? What is the word I'm looking for? You gave me the definition of euthanasia, and I'm looking for the word in regards to law stuff. Could we say that?
Yeah, I think that would work just fine.
Okay, yeah. So the law stuff that happens in Canada ends up happening in America. The Bill C-16. We talked about it briefly on yesterday's episode. Go check it out. And we talked about how there was a this bill that would prevent people from allowing to speak how they wanted to speak, is that it would prevent people from misgendering, and then it seeped into New York and in California, and then now we're seeing it here in the Midwest. So how many years before we see euthanasia being something that's normal, something that you walk into the hospital here at Liberty Hospital or St. Luke's, and you bring your grandmother in there and tell them that, she's tired and sick and she's worn out and she's having, how long before they look at grandmama and then say, well, you should go ahead and just take this nice little, and it kind of reminds me of, have you seen Futurama?
Futurama? No, I've actually never seen Futurama, but I'm pretty sure.
Wait, you've never seen Futurama?
No, I've never seen Futurama. I'm not a Futurama guy. But I do know that there actually are some states in the U.S. that actually allow that. But as opposed to like a shot, I believe you just take like a solution. I believe in different states or jurisdictions.
Well, in Futurama is basically there's a scene where the guy, I think it's Fry or something, he's walking around and they look, it wasn't even like they like pan the camera and it was just a funny little clip, but basically where this is like suicide booth where people would walk in there and then they would just commit suicide because, life in the future is just that so miserable because there is absolutely no meaning, no purpose, and everybody is so, how do I say this? So ungrateful, kind of like how we are today, is that even me, I'm complaining because it's hot inside the studio. And it's like, is it really that hot whenever you compare it to yesterday? And I say yesterday, I'm talking about 100 years ago when there wasn't even air conditioning. I think air conditioning came out in like 1915, 1916, 17. Look that up. Anyway, all I'm saying is that we need to start paying more attention to what's happening in Canada because it's right down the street. I mean, like, we're right down the street. All that law stuff up there is going to be happening here. So, anyway,
it was actually 1902 when AC was invented. But here's my thing: is I think the fridge or the freezer existed at this time, and I think they unironically had like breaks, and they would just go in there and cool off a bit. Then they'll just switch in and out of it.
So there was the freezer before there was the air conditioner?
I have no idea, but I think there was, because I feel like the freezer is easy to make, right? It's easier.
Freezer invented. The freezer was invented in the 1940s. So that doesn't really hold up.
Okay, well, I thought the freezer would be easier to make because it's smaller, but like an AC unit, that like goes everywhere.
No. The AC unit is practically like a freezer, and then they push that cold air throughout the building. Didn't you do HVAC?
No, I was a plumber, bro, not HVAC. HVAC sounded awful because of fiberglass insulation. That sounded like hell.
It's not that bad. I mean, all you do is you deal with it. I've dealt with it, and not only that, if you're any good at it, you actually don't even get bit by the fiberglass. You don't, because you just use the outside and then you cut it properly. So I don't know how you were doing it, but there were many times when I was a plumber, right? There would be lines behind fiberglass insulation. Yeah. I would have to reach in there and grab the insulation, and it would get on all my hands and crap, and like my pores, they opened up, and the fiberglass seeped in, and it just wouldn't go away. Dude, plumbing is an easy job. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it is not. Here's the thing. I was a leak detector, right? Yep. Yeah. I was a leak detector.
Find out where the leaks were?
Yeah, I didn't just find them, but if it was under like a concrete slab or something, then we would have to get a jackhammer and pop, 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 and break up the concrete, dig it out, and then get down there and fix the line. That's hard work, man.
I don't think so.
It is hard work, and you just don't get it. You don't get it.
Dude, I'm messing with you right now because I was a plumber. I was a plumber for 2 years.
Yeah. Jeez. Okay. Sure. I don't
forget
think you
that
could
I
hack
have
it.
like 10 years on you.
Yeah. Right, man. I don't think you could hack it as a leak detector. That's all I have to say.
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of beautiful, our next story comes out of California, which I don't really.
I don't know if I'd exactly consider this story beautiful. But
I'm talking about California. I'm talking about California just in general. It's beautiful. Like I was saying, I've been to California. It is absolutely gorgeous. I've driven through the hills, and when you drive through California, it's different. Like, especially whenever like the first like 5 hours of the journey to get to California is Kansas. And then you go to, and then you hit Colorado. Colorado is beautiful too. It's a different kind of beauty. But like the hills, you see I just want to mow all of the grass. That's, I think, the reason why I find California so beautiful. Is like I imagine myself in retirement just mowing the hills of California. I'm doing a terrible job of explaining California. But what I did do is I found on Quora, I searched up, what do people think about California? And so this is according to Dave Savoda. He says that I live near Escondido, north of San Diego, and the weather there was mostly lovely, right? And maybe a little frost every winter, and the snow stayed up in the mountains, all civilized like. However, traffic is this is his grammar, not mine. I'm trying to. Anywho, so he says, however, the traffic is horrible on the freeway. The fire season is horrible. The apocalyptic fires, and we know what is going on with the fires. If they would just control the fires, you know what I'm talking about? Am I going on my schizo rant right now where I just see a word?
They can't just control wildfires.
Yes, they can.
How can they? How do you suggest they will suggest that? Like we have scientists and firemen and crap on this, and you think you can just stop the fire, contain it?
Well, here's the problem: is that you're supposed to let it burn. There's times when you're supposed to let it burn. One is that you're not supposed to build homes where there's just a bunch of trees. Like, there are places where you put homes and there's places where you don't. And I'm pretty sure that the reason why that they do this is, one, it's because I'm not getting into it. This is something that I know much more than you on. I assure you that it is better to let the fire burn.
That I'm pretty sure that's what a wildfire is whenever it burns.
Hey, there's no such thing as a wildfire. It's a natural fire. Is that the sticks, they build up on the bottom, and then it gets so hot, then it catches a fire, and then things burn, and it's natural, and it will just stop naturally.
Yeah, I think you're just schizophrenic, if I'm being honest.
I am not. Anyway, he also continues to say that schools seem to turn out mostly girls who want to be in Hollywood, and then pregnant or hooked on fentanyl. So there is an ugly side of California, which is what brings us to the next story, is that a California mother of 2 young girls was beheaded on the street outside of her home just before noon Thursday by a guy with a restraining order against her, barring contact with the victim. This is batshit crazy. And I meant to speak to our research team about finding, and maybe Preston, you could search it up, but I don't know of the last beheading that has occurred in America.
I would have no clue. I didn't even know beheadings happened in America. I knew like shootings and stuff is somewhat common, but not a beheading.
Yeah. So, and we know this happened because there were multiple witnesses that saw what happened. This happened in San Carlos, and what sucks is that the woman, she has 2 kids, 7 and 1, who were inside the home. Thankfully, they didn't see what happened to their mother, but others had seen what happened. I think there's a guy that was talking about how it was done with a sword. We'll get to that here. So according to this article here, is that it says San Mateo County Sheriff's Lieutenant Eamon Allen told reporters the deputies that first arrived on the scene were a little beset by the scene. He said, we were providing them peer support. We are also providing support for the witnesses that were on the scene as well, because there were several civilian witnesses. Continues on and says that the police were brief and vague in the report of the incident, saying only that the woman was killed by a stabbing instrument. Like a sword?
Yeah, it was a sword. And also, I don't know if this is right. She might have just been stabbed, but I'm pretty sure was a case in Alton, which is where we just visited recently. I think I actually told you about it when we were there, but a guy like cut off her girlfriend's head, I believe.
So there has been, but not publicly.
No, I don't think it was in public. I think it was just behind in a home.
Okay, so I guess this is something that has, and this was recently. How recent was it?
It was decently recently. Maybe like a.
Did you say decently recently?
Listen, man. Listen. Don't even start. Don't. It's not funny. It's just not funny. Okay. Okay. Anyways, it was like a couple months ago, I believe. I think it was a couple months ago. Why are you laughing? I don't like that.
Decently recently.
No,
I think I think that's good. I think that's something that like you should continue to say.
I didn't mean to say that. No, stop.
No. I mean,
stop.
like, no. Every time, if we ever bring up a story like this again, and then you're like, no, this has happened before. This is not precedented. Precedent.
Precedent. It's like a C. Yeah, it's a C.
I just want you to say that more.
I don't want to
Can
say
you
that
say it
more.
one more time?
No, I'm not saying it
Please,
anymore
I'll
because
fire
you may
you
me
if
for
you
it.
don't say it
You
one more
are
time.
not going to fire me. You can't fire me. We both know that.
I'll fire you if you don't
can't
say
fire
it.
me.
Decently, recently.
I'm not saying it again.
Decently, recently.
Oh wait, we have some people in the chat here.
Yeah? Do they love the fact that you just said decently, recently?
We have someone that commented on it, but we don't have to worry about that, okay? Let's
comment on it?
Oh, we actually have someone in the chat that wanted a schizo rant about your wildfires. He wanted a schizo rant. We have someone here.
They want a schizo rant?
Yeah, they wanted a schizo rant about your wildfires.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me... These people are so stupid because they want to fix everything. And they want to fix everything, especially whenever it comes to Mother Nature. And you know what? That's a pagan lady. That's so stupid. I don't even know why I brought it up in the rant. But basically, it is so simple. You just stop. You just stop trying to put them out in specific places, and they will stop on their own. This is something that naturally occurs if you look over time. I mean, scientists will even mention it, but they have had so many stupid-ass peer-reviewed studies that are, the leaf that falls and falls on the leaf, and it causes a big old fire, and if we let that grow, then it's going to kill everybody. And that's not even the case, is that you're supposed to let it burn. I'm so sick of hearing about wildfires, especially it's not even just wildfires, it's anything that happens inside of the news. And I hear somebody, oh, did you hear about this? And they say, oh, did you hear about this? And it has anything to do with like climate change, or it has anything to do with like gentrification, or it has anything to do with, racism. And it just makes me want to explode, because the reality is that we don't live in a perfect world. Most certainly, okay? And so there are going to be things that don't work, okay? And so we just have to handle that, okay?
Okay, hold on, Sam.
What?
What it sounds like to me, like you are a Smokey the Bear denier. Is this true?
No, I just think that Mother Nature is an absolute bigoted, racist whore.
Mother Nature is?
Yes.
I don't know much about Mother Nature.
It frustrates me every time I think about this.
You sound like a Smokey the Bear denier.
I am.
You do know
I am that.
we are going to.
I am that. He's not real. Sasquatch isn't real. Aliens aren't real. I'm putting my foot down here.
No. Actually, aliens are
Whoever
just
commented
demons.
that, you're the one who opened this valve. And once you open the valve, it's not going to stop. Just like the burning fires, they're not going to stop. They're going to happen. Jeez, what were we talking about?
Yeah, you got a bit off track with your schizo rant. We have someone in the chat who asked what's wrong with fire lines.
Fire lines?
Yeah.
I don't know. Tell them we're not even talking. We're done with that. We moved on to the next segment.
Sorry, Ashlyn. We moved on. We're done with that.
Shout out to Ashlyn. I'm it hurt my voice now. I've only got about like 5 more minutes of speaking before it absolutely goes out. So anyway, the police were briefed with a vague report of the incident. So these guys are using light language here. But basically what happened is that there was a woman that was beheaded with a sword. And it says that the suspect was arrested when he came back to the scene of the crime and had been identified as Jose Solano Landaeta, which is a big surprise, right? Because I don't know anyone with a middle name of Solano that has lived a perfect life. In fact, I don't know anyone who's lived a perfect life. There's my save. Is that a good save?
Yeah. It was decent, I would say.
He was also Hispanic. So, anyway, he is believed to have been in an ongoing relationship with the victim, but she had taken out a temporary restraining order against him in April. Landaeta has had other charges against him from 2008 for the concealed carry of a dagger, which is in violation of California's statutes, which is, it's California. You can't. Actually, I think it's also in all the states is that you can't have a dagger that's like bigger than like your palm or something like that. I think that's ridiculous.
Well,
We're at a state where we're banning knives.
Well, my question is that even the same guy from that record? Because what if those are different people?
Yeah, I don't know. This isn't the news, man. This is what, this is the things that I read online, and then I'm bringing it to you because I think it's important. You want to call me out on this right now, Inward Preston? I'll come over there and kick your ass.
You're not going. Okay, we've already established that if we got into a fight, I would win. So let's
number
go
one,
admit
I have like 5-inch more reach on you, and number two is that we arm wrestled and I kicked your ass.
Okay, first of all, you cheated with the arm wrestle. You cheated with it.
You can't cheat in arm wrestling.
No, here's what you did. You took your leverage of your whole bicep like into it. All I was stretched out, right? But you like came in and like used your whole
comment
chest.
below. Comment below if you think that that's cheating.
That is 100%.
I want you to unsubscribe
because I wasn't doing it and you were doing
cheating,
it.
I want you to unsubscribe.
No, do not unsubscribe. But that is cheating, though.
That's not cheating.
It is cheating.
No, it isn't.
100%.
It's using
if I did that, I would have won.
Were the elbows? Did my elbows stay on the
fighting
table?
back. I was doing completely fine, keeping you at
was
at
my
bay
elbow on the table?
It was on the table. Yeah, you're right, but it doesn't change that you had much more leverage because you were like scooching in and you were cheating.
Yeah,
basically.
but the elbow stayed on the table.
Oh, someone says gray area, so we have to rematch.
Yeah,
exactly.
it was probably Ashlyn, and she's
no,
never
it
been
wasn't
in an arm wrestling
Ashlyn. It was
competition.
actually Jonathan. So,
well, Jonathan doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
I mean,
I've met Jonathan. Every Jonathan I've met, none of them
that's
had any clue
that is
about
ridiculous.
arm wrestling.
Yeah,
no,
right.
every single one of them. I could write down
so every
Jonathan
you've ever ran into in your whole life, you talk to them.
They didn't
about
even know
arm
what
wrestling.
it was. They didn't even know what it was.
Of course
I brought
they
up
knew.
stories about arm wrestling. My friends,
we got another
Jonathan
guy in the chat. Hold on, we got another guy.
Say?
He said his name is Monkey Boy King, and he says that's cheating. That's beta male stuff. You hear that?
Dude, it's coming from a guy named
Sam.
Monkey King.
Who cares? He seems credible.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll put on the schedule that we arm wrestle, during a live show. How about that? And then we'll determine whether or not. Write that down on your notes.
Okay.
I think you're Monkey King. I think that's what you are. I think that you're Monkey King.
Not. That's that's risky territory to start calling me Monkey King.
Why?
You know exactly why, but we won't get into that right now.
Okay, so anyway, I don't know. I could be entirely wrong about all of this, but the things that I read is apparently there was, back to this, is that in California there's people getting beheaded. And so all I'm saying to all you people in California, is that you need to look out, all right? Things are getting real crazy out there. And if I were you, I would go ahead and move out of that today. I don't know what this voice is. I feel like a black preacher.
Yeah, you should probably stop that. That's cultural appropriation, and we don't want to.
Are we losing viewers for?
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm just saying, like, last time I did the Irish voice, and then we lost viewers because I did the Irish voice, so I can't do the Irish voice. I want to... There's impressions that I want to do. There's things that I want to...
Okay, here's my suggestion, Sam, is just don't do impressions. How about that? Does that work for you?
But there's some that I can do really well.
Name one impression you can do well. Like, do it right now.
Herbert the Pervert.
Okay, do it right now.
Haven't seen the Paperboy. See, I can't because my voice is gone.
That was absolutely terrible.
Stop.
The chat saw this, right?
No,
the
stop.
Chat saw that?
Let me do it again.
Okay, go ahead.
Haven't seen the Paperboy sometime now. I want to come downstairs to my cellar. Got some popsicles for you.
Yeah, you can't hold it in because you know it's dead on.
It was terrible.
No.
I was laughing at how terrible it was. That was terrible.
No.
You sounded like you needed an inhaler the whole time you were doing that.
All right, I got a Chris Rock impression.
Oh. Go ahead and do it. We'll see.
First of all, did anybody say anything about the Herbert the Pervert, how it's dead on?
Yeah, no, everybody's dead quiet, and silence is much more deafening. So I think that gives you...
That hurts. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to comment, subscribe, and visit samdailyshow.com to be a part of our crew. We've got a Discord channel, and I'm only going to mention that 3 more times, maybe 4 more times before, but I will most certainly always mention that you should not eat the soap. You can buy the soap, but don't eat the soap. Don't eat the soap.
How about we... We're getting super sidetracked here. How about we go to the next story?
That is the last story.
We had another story.
What are you
the
talking
white
about?
pill. The white pill, Sam.
Oh, okay. I just read my outro, and then now you're just like, oh, but we've got another story.
Well, what is this, amateur hour? I thought you already knew this stuff. Didn't you do your research?
I know, and I didn't put. Yeah, I know. I'm in the wrong. My bad. But seriously, don't eat the soap. Don't eat the soap. So, this article here, it says that what is LGBTQ History Month, and why did a Miami school board change its mind about it? Inward Preston, you know a little bit more about this than I do. So why don't you fill us in?
Oh, well, I mean, what was important about it was that a school board was originally in favor
Can you do this with just less ums, please?
Okay, how about you how about you just shut up over there, okay? I got this. Anyways, so a school in Miami-Dade County, I believe it was. At first they were on board with making October LGBTQ month, but then they completely changed their mind about it, and they're completely against making October LGBTQ month and observing it in their schools. And that was basically
what he's trying to say here is that this school hates gay people.
That's not what I was trying to say.
Basically what happened here is that in Missouri, and I hate saying that it happened in Missouri, is that there was a high school teacher who chose October to celebrate gay sex and lesbian sex. A teacher. Right? A teacher in a school was so pumped about gay sex and lesbian sex that they decided that, you know what, we need to celebrate a whole entire month. We need to celebrate gay sex. Right? And so what happened then, all of these schools decided to participate in this. So you have schools I'm pretty sure, I think the statistic I last looked at, 99.9% of the schools in California, they have like a little flag. That could be a made up statistic, but whatever. Is that so now all the schools are, and so this specific school here in Miami-Dade County decided that they, you know what, they hate them. They hate the gays. It's so unfortunate. It really is. This is so unfortunate. And it's so funny on these NPR articles. It says, right, like the picture that it chooses is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. As if, suicide and the LGBTQ community have anything to do with each other.
I think they have plenty to do. What I never understood is what is the purpose of, like, awareness months in general? Like, what is the purpose of them? I never understood
the purpose
them. Yeah, like, what's the purpose of them? What do they do?
They teach these kids about sex, about gay sex. That's what it is. That's the purpose. It started out with like boobies,
Sam,
and like breast cancer awareness, and they're like, look, boobs.
No, I'm saying about everything.
There's a conspiracy
Sam. Like, what about
behind
Movember? You know what I'm talking about? Movember, Sam?
Movember?
Yeah,
the last month that you mow your lawn?
No, Movember was. Is that actually what it's called? The last month? Okay, never mind. It was like Movember or something, but it's basically where all the men, if they have beards, they shave it, and then basically they.
No, it's no shave November.
No, they shave. They shave their beards. And then they, like, over whenever November starts, and it's called Movember or something. And they basically talk about, like, men's mental health.
This is a psyop.
No, it's not a psyop. This is a real thing.
This is a psyop.
I had a friend.
This is why I told you before every show, I don't want you speaking for more than 10 seconds because you're always trying to psyop the audience.
That's not
every
true.
Time.
He's never said that. He's never said that before.
I've said that at least 30, 40 different times.
No. Okay, I have a friend, okay, in Oklahoma.
Bullshit.
His name is Luther. His name is Luther.
Yep.
And he participated in it, I believe. Oh, wait, no, he wanted to participate in it, but he just kind of forgot about it, and that's when he told me about it.
So what you're saying is that they basically shave their face, and then they take the scraps, like the beard scraps, and then they put it on their head.
No, they don't do that. I've never said any of that. What that was just completely out of pocket.
I'm trying to get what it is.
They shave their hair, they shave their beard, not their hair, not their their head, but they shave their beard.
Yep.
And then like it basically means they're open to like conversations about men's mental health, right? And they talk about it. That's what it is. It's called Movember.
Yeah, but what about all the people who don't have a beard? Period.
Well, tough luck.
So like people are going up to people without beards, like, "Hey,
I
can you talk
don't
to me
know.
about
That's
mental
how he
awareness?"
described it to me, and it stuck with me for some reason. And it's called
Okay.
Movember.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, it says here that the month celebrates 31 lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender icons. Over the course of October, students learn about prominent figures like Hans Christian Andersen, fairy tale author of The Little Mermaid, The Emperor's New Clothes, and other children's stories, as well as former WNBA player Sue Bird, who joined her partner, soccer's great Megan Rapinoe, as the first openly gay couple to appear on the cover of ESPN's Body issue. So this is the shit that they do during... Oh my gosh. It's so unfortunate that this school hates gay people so much that they would get rid of this. Miami-Dade County Public School Board. What the heck, man? Do you not have
disgusting.
A single bone in your body that loves talking about men boning other bodies? Unfortunate.
I can't believe it.
Unfortunate. And it's in Dos Santos. Oh, here we go. It says something about Dos Santos. It says here in this NPR article that I'd like to wrap up Governor Ron DeSantos in a silk blanket and tell him he's beauty. Oh wait, never mind. I'm sorry.
What are you reading? What are your other
NPR.
tabs
This
that
is
are
NPR.
open?
No.
I am looking at your search history after this stream.
No. I'm reading it was the wrong paragraph.
The wrong paragraph.
It says that signed into law by Florida Governor Ron DeSantos at the end of March. It prohibits classroom instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity for students in kindergarten through 3rd grade. That's because your teachers are absolutely nuts. I tell you what. Actually, I am pissed off at this county. Why do you hate gays? Anyway, so with all that to say is that thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, send it to your grandmother, your sister, your mom, and all of the silly liberals so that you can encourage hate commenting. That's what this episode is brought to you by, is brought to you by hate commenting. The thing that is the opposite of love commenting, because sometimes hate is necessary, but soap is forever. So go to samdailyshow.com, join the community, and that's it. Don't eat the soap. Don't eat the soap.
Eat the soap.
No, don't eat the soap.
Eat the soap.
Don't eat the soap!